Yeah, man, I want to some bad mind boy.
First and foremost, free the whole world, boss. I am your gracious host, Caspian Montgomery. Welcome, Gaza Nation, to another episode of the Vybz Kartel Show. Today, we will be breaking down the brand new song, Don't See Me, by Vybz Kartel and Thai British to the patois illiterate. And if you don't know, there's a challenge going on with this song. If you can recite Adi's verse on this song, you have the chance to win 1,000 US. So I will put up Thai British's Instagram name and you can follow the rules and submit, and you have a chance to win 1,000 US. So I would do that right away. And without further ado, teacher, please begin.
Show me life sweet like syrup on the corrupt, so you come up with the fuck. Where the fuck you come and stir up bad mind, sick me stomach. You fi go with no feds, you say the dog a push a Benz and your corruption you a me.
Our great Gaza leader begins the first verse by saying that it is true that his life is sweet like syrup that you use to make ice cream and other various desserts. And then he says he is not corrupt. No one in the Gaza is corrupt. And then he says that so they have to come up with the, I cannot say it, but the F-U-C-K-ery. They have to come up with that. So they have to make up stories, just like the tabloids just did by claiming his house in Havendale was a dump, but it's not even his house anymore. So that is the type of effery that they are coming up with. And then he says, what are you doing? What are you trying to stir up? Can't you just let the Gaza thugs live in peace? And then he says, the bad minds, they make him sick to his stomach. The bad minds are the people who walk around with jealousy in their mind and envy and hate in their heart. And then he says, you need to go away. What are you, the feds? So what are you, the police? Because you see me driving a Mercedes-Benz, meaning Kartel, because that is his favorite vehicle of choice, is the Mercedes-Benz. And he says, so you see me driving the Benz and you want to act like the feds? Because it is bare corruption that you are meds. So all you are thinking about is corrupt thoughts in your mind because of your jealousy and your envy. You want to rob him. You want to, instead of working hard to go get your own Mercedes-Benz, you want to try to take away his Mercedes, and that is what a real bad mind is, and they are the worst type of people on earth.
You know fi see me, CI, trouble, TI. See say them a peasant, just a pea without a VI. Why the fuck a giant could a worry about an EI? Had the fear, so we never fear no plague.
One Dawn then says that you do not have to see him, because if you do see him, there will be trouble. And then he says TI, and if you don't know, T.I. is known as the Trouble Man, so T.I. the rapper is known as the Trouble Man, so that is a wonderful line. And then he says, see, they are just peasants, just a P without the V.I., so they are just a person. They are not a very important person. They are not VIPs. They are just normal people. They are just peasants. And then he says, why the F-U-C-K would a giant worry about a knee-high? And a knee-high is just a little tyke, a little chap that is up to your knee, like a midget. If you can still say that word. They are just midgets to a giant. And then he says, Adi is the Pharaoh. So he will never fear a plague, and that is a biblical reference, as Adi tends to do a lot. There was the 10 plagues, and Moses came down and spoke to the Pharaoh, but the Pharaoh was immune from the plagues. It was the Israelites that were getting struck with the plagues, so he is saying that a Pharaoh would never fear a plague like COVID-19. It avoids them at all costs. So that is a wonderful line right there.
Told me if them a try me at the ear, get afraid. Teacher never miss a class for the high grade. Me see through them, bitch through them, stitch through them. All I can say is I don't rate them bitch movement.
The king of dancehall, then says to how he is evil, how much badness is inside him, they would have to try him at The Hague. And The Hague is a city in the Netherlands that is home to the United Nations International Court. So that must be the highest court in the world, and that's how evil he will be if you bad mind him, that they will have to try him at The Hague. And then he says, and are you afraid of that? You should be. I'm telling you, you should be right now. You should be afraid of that type of badness. And then the teacher says that he never misses a class for the high grades, so he never misses any opportunity to smoke the wonderful plant, the healing of the nation, the marijuana, the cannabis. No. And then he says he sees through them. He sees right through the people who are not genuine. He can tell. And then he says, bitch, he says, female dog. Who are them? And then he says, snitch. That's who they are. They are snitches. The worst type of people on earth. Snitches do get stitches. I hope that still is true today, because Tekashi 69 is proving me wrong. And then he says, all he can say is that he does not rate those female dog movements. So he doesn't rate when a male acts like a female. They are very chatty. They are very jealous. Those are all female traits, and Adi doesn't rate them, nor do I. And with that last line, we have reached the glorious chorus.
You better see me and don't see me. Oh, you better see me and don't see me. Make me keep these shoes with the legs close to me. I have my Bible on me rosaries. Huh? You better see me and don't see me. Oh, you better see me and don't see me. Me keep these shoes with the legs close to me. I have my Bible on me rosaries. You better see me and don't see me. Yeah. Alright. You better see me and don't see me. Yeah. You better see me and don't see me, yeah. You better see me and don't see me, yeah.
This Thai British chorus is very catchy. It is short and simple, but it is very catchy at the same time. He says, you better see me, and then don't see me. So he is going back. You see me, but forget that you ever saw me. That is some street code, if you do not know. And then he says he keeps the shoes with the lace close to him. So I'm just going to assume that he is meaning a firearm with an extended clip, or he could mean some nice shoes with some custom laces. And then he says he also keeps his Bible and his rosaries near him, so he is very religious at the same time, and you do not want to mess with a religious man that also knows how to take care of himself in the streets. This is just a wonderful chorus, well put together, Thai British. Bravo!
From a day I jail me, see the bigger picture. Dripping on me Louis V, me no wear filler. Raw paper, grab a dog, me no bun swisher. Could have been a scammer, could have sell painkillers.
Mr. British begins the second and final verse by saying, from when he was in jail, and I have been there before, he saw the bigger picture and he did not want to go back. And I, Caspian, have been to jail before, and it does make you rethink your life. And then he says, now, since he's been released, he is dripping in his Louis Vuitton. He does not wear fila. Fila is for people like me. Now he can afford the finest garments, the Louis Vuitton. So, then he says that he uses raw papers, which I also use, and grabber. He does not burn swishes. He does not smoke swishes. No, he's rolling up raw papers with the grabber, the tobacco in it. And then he said he could have been a scammer, and he also could have sold painkillers, which are two things that I have also done in my past. So this verse resonates with me. It is a wonderful verse, Mr. British.
From a nigga, but me don't know me is a winner. You are no angel, now me is a sinner. Soon shine bright like the sun, I'm a rilla. Man, I go and shoot for the star.
Sir British then says, from the day he was born, he knew that he was going to be a winner in this game of life. And then he says, yes, he is not an angel. He is a sinner, but there are so many good people on earth that used to sin. So we do not hold that against you, Mr. British. And then he says his shoes shine bright like the sun Amarilla, and that means yellow in Spanish, and the sun is yellow, so I'm going to assume that his Louis Vuitton shoes are yellow. And then he says that he is going to shoot for the stars. He is going to rise to the top in this music industry.
Music save no for no. I'm old, I stay if me never start DJ. Enough of them switch and sell out like eBay. Me and you, no friend, you couldn't keep it the real way.
Sir Ty British then says that music has saved enough youths' lives. Enough people's lives have been saved from the ghetto by music. And then he says, how would he have stayed if he never started to DJ? So if he never started making music, he probably would be dead or in the streets like so many others. And then he says, enough people, they switch and sell out like weed beer. And if that is the correct lyrics that I'm getting off of Genius.com, then I've never had weed beer, and I would love to try it, but he is saying enough people, they switch sides, and they sell out, and you already know that Gaza is full loyalty, so we never switch and we never sell out. And then he says, me and you are not friends because you couldn't keep it the real way. You couldn't keep it solid. You couldn't stay on your 10 toes on the ground. No, you had to backstab, which is something no one rates.
Bring your alma mother yard, here look at you, we have been a look fraud from with the in our teenage. And make me feel hungry, make me feel rich. I want to make it big, you can't come on the stage.
Sir British then says that this friend that switched sides on him, he's talking to him, and he said he used to bring him to his mother's house and, give him a little leeway. He gave him that trust and respect that he actually allowed his mother to meet this man. And then he said he was not a little fraud from even their teenage years. So he has been keeping it real ever since he was able to hop off the porch, as we say, ever since he was his own teenager. And then he says, so this person who switched up, he makes him feel angry. He makes him feel rage inside. And when he makes it to the big leagues, when he blows up in this music industry, guess what, sir? You will not be allowed on stage with him because of your past transgressions. And with that last line, we have reached the end of the first Thai British and Vybz Kartel masterpiece. As always, thank you Gaza Nation for tuning in. Please remember to like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you do not miss an episode. We are all continuing to pray for Adi. We hope the Privy Council happens sooner than later. Please, Gaza Nation, keep your prayers going. We will never switch. We will never sell out. So until we meet again, it is Gaza, me say, forever.
You better see me and don't see me. You better see me and don't see me. Me keep the shoes with the legs close to me. I have my Bible on me rosaries. You better see me and don't see me. You better see me and don't see me. Me keep the shoes with the legs close to me. I have my Bible on me rosaries. You better see me and don't see me.